All right, and welcome to another episode of Poketalkers. We're excited to be back with you guys. Happy New Year, first and foremost. Hope it's been good for your family, your friends, anybody you know, pets included. We're really happy to be back and start the new year off with you guys. We hope you've been listening. If you haven't, we'll go back through introductions. My name is Trick Room. I'm joined with my co-host.
And I'm the Emperor.
And we have two guests this week. One you know and one you don't.
I actually don't know if you're a co-host yet.
My guest?
Who's the next person?
All right, one guest you don't know. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Dark Penguin, and I'm so excited to be here on Poketalkers.
All right, now Dark Penguin, before we move on to our other guest, a little tradition we have, you got to tell us your favorite Pokemon.
My favorite Pokemon is Mr. Mime.
Go ahead and tell us why.
Why is that?
Yeah.
See, Mr. Mime, he's a little bit different from other Pokemon. He's a humanoid. But here's the thing about Mr. Mime. He might be based on an axolotl, which is a very rare salamander creature from countries. And and he does this thing with his hands where he makes barriers. And I've always thought it was really cool. And Mime Jr. is cool. It's just cool.
What makes Mr. Mime cooler than Mime Jr.?
That's an interesting question.
They're very different. Have I told you my theory about Mime Jr.?
Probably, but tell it for the audience.
Okay, well, I mean, to those listening at home, and I'm sure you've probably thought about
And on
this.
the go.
Or on the go.
Traveling in your car.
So, okay.
Bus or train.
Jet or sea.
Let's get back to the story.
I was speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't like this magician.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
He interrupted me.
Keep going.
We'll put a silence on him.
Okay.
Silence sound effect.
I just don't like him, but this besides...
All right, well, Mime Jr. You're saying Mime Jr. You got a theory.
Yeah, so you ever notice that you're playing Pokemon, right?
Right.
You ever see any kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, actually. I was playing through most games.
Well, you shouldn't. The answer was no.
Constantly younger.
Oh, no.
They're usually on route one.
You always see old
adults,
people.
right.
No kids in Pokemon.
Well, your character's a kid, but most of the time you're fighting adults, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of youngsters, and there's usually preschoolers.
Well, forget about those ones. Think about the ones that you don't see.
Okay.
To block them out the invisible.
Probably a lot of
I
things
see, I don't
you
like
don't
this
see.
guy. Keep trying to talk.
Yeah.
Shut
up.
Everyone else is talking. All right.
Well, you haven't been introduced yet, so...
Oh, right. I
You don't know who
exist
you
yet.
are.
Okay.
So, yeah. Now, we're all those kids. And then Mime Jr. comes along, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a kid. And if you read the Pokedex, it says Drifloon, the balloon Pokemon, is known for carrying children away. There's a suspicious absence of kids in Sinnoh. I think the Drifloons are carrying kids away where they're being taken somewhere, who knows where, and they're being turned into Mime Juniors.
Oh, Pokey Theory to start off our Pokey New Year.
Right. Drifloon wasn't in Pokemon when Mime Jr. came out.
Yeah, they were both in Sinnoh.
No? Didn't Mime Jr. come out in Hoenn?
Sinnoh.
He came out in the Hoenn anime.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, just like Togepi came out in the Kanto anime. And we all know that Togepi is the first Pokemon to Johto. But we have a special guest with us today, coming back for, I think this is the third time, the Magician!
Magician, what have you been working on lately?
Tell us, we know you're busy.
What's your career doing?
Oh, it's been really busy. Working on the website, working on the reel. We're really trying to get things together, getting ready for our major showcase we have in New York and LA. But I have been spending some time looking at the Pokédex because I knew this was coming up. And I actually the other day, just because I was bored, I looked through the Pokédex just to brush up. And
which version?
The classic version.
All right, no, fair.
All right, okay.
Well, I'm sticking mainly to the first 100 just to refresh my memory on that. But as we know here, as Pokemon
You've got
is
such
gone.
a weird elbow.
All right, well, the viewers at home can't see that, so why don't we go ahead and... you were talking about the Pokedex.
Well, I could describe my elbow in great detail if we want
please
to.
don't.
But yeah, I've been brushing up and stuff.
What would you read?
What would I read?
Well, anyone interesting stand out to you?
Anyone interesting stand out to me? No. No one in particular. I forget that certain Pokemon are certain types, so it's nice to get a little refresher.
All right, well, we're going to do our Poke Talk. We're going to talk about one of the original 150, give our opinions. And to start off the new year, we're starting off with... Ponyta!
What are your thoughts on Ponyta?
Magician, why don't you start us off?
Well, I like it. I like that it's a horse, classic animal with a twist. Fire. Fire for a tail, fire for a mane. Classic look, and I like fire. So what can I say? It's nice.
Gotta jump in here. I love it. I remember that episode of the Pokemon, Ash learns to ride Ponyta, and everyone's like, oh god, you're gonna burn yourself. That's the thing. Ponyta likes you, the fire won't burn you. So I really like that. I think that's a nice little...
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's cool.
Two opinions.
Interesting.
Dark Penguin?
Yeah, I think what's interesting about Ponyta is the fact that he or she, it really doesn't. I think that's what's interesting about it. It can be he or she,
Just like
and that doesn't matter. They look the same. Well, a lot of Pokemon, the genders look different.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case with Ponyta.
No.
Ponyta is the same everywhere.
Okay. Emperor.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is what's already been said. I love Ponyta. Isn't Ponyta in the opening? Or is that Rapidash?
Yes,
That's Rapidash.
Oh, Rapidash. Yeah.
Rapidash. We're gonna take Ponyta out of the opening. Replace it with Rapidash.
Oh.
Was that a decision made at Pokemon headquarters?
It's something in my mind right now.
What do you mean you take Rapidash out and replace it with Ponyta?
We're gonna have to really reconsider all this.
Well, kind of jumping into our first little bit of Poke News, that's something we can transition into that I don't think we talked about. In the new thing, Galarian forms. Ponyta was one of the Pokemon to get a new Galarian form.
Cool.
Yeah, and so it lost the fire mane
Right.
and got a taffy toothpaste
Oh,
mane.
I love it!
Is it like a candy horse?
It does kind of look like that, and
Is it like
a
a
lot of
fairy
people
type or
thought
something?
it was going to be a fairy type, but it wasn't a fairy type.
Oh. Just normal or
It is a psychic type.
cotton candy unicorn?
Let me see.
That's what that is.
Gosh darn it. I love that.
Yeah, it's a unicorn now.
Is that Sun and Moon?
Pretty cute.
It's the new one, Sword and Shield.
Epic.
So yeah, it's a psychic. It's a psychic type. Pretty cool.
Think we're done with Pokemon for the week? Anything
I think
else to say about Pokemon?
Bring up one more thing. I think we should talk about big news. Ash finally won the
yeah.
what are those islands called? Sun and Moon Islands. What's the name of that region?
Alola.
Oh, the Alola region. He won the Alola region.
Now, I watched this episode, actually.
Take it away.
Was not happy with it.
Oh.
It's kind of dumb, because the Alola Championship, what is it called? Pokemon Tour or something?
Championship, whatever.
Yeah, the championship. They changed it, so he only fought people from the Alola region. So it felt like a very shallow victory. He should have fought people from around the world, like all the other...
So you don't think Ash has earned his title?
Mm-mm. It was bad. It was also a dumb fight. It was a very... I can't remember who was in it, but it was a very...
What?
It wasn't nearly as cool as the final fight from Unova.
Greninja and
No, what's the
Charizard.
one? Greninja and Charizard, yeah, from X and Y.
Which kind of just goes to show what a shit trainer Ash is if he had a water type and lost to a fire type. So
Now there's a new show out where he hangs out with another little kid.
a lot of people, and this will
it was
probably
a girl.
a lot of people think it's a girl. A lot of people think this is going to be like
It wasn't. That's
secret
not
girl.
possible.
It could just end up being Mime Jr. Or Mr. Mime.
Well, no, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Could be a Charizard.
Oh.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know.
that's what
Could be
happened to
Bowser.
little kids.
Well, that's only in Sinnoh, and clearly
Have you ever
they're in
Mom's Junior.
Galar. They're in the Galar region.
Well, the thing is, I don't really know much about Mime Jr.
You
I
don't
was
know much
wondering-
about a lot, yeah.
Right, so could you inform me a little bit about Mime Jr.? Or maybe the sound that Mime Jr. makes?
No.
Why not? He's a bird? I didn't know.
That was more like a Starly sound, but I thought I would just throw that in there.
Yeah.
I've been working on some impressions. I think the last thing Pokemon we should talk about before we move on is
Please pull your pants up.
this is just a
Not a joking.
regions. Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and
Did not remember
Sinnoh.
that when he said it either.
Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh. They're all based on areas of Japan. But then from there on out, we go to different countries.
Right.
Unova's based on New York City. It's got 9/11 spot in there.
Lenovo.
Unova.
Oh.
Kalos is based on France. Alola's based on Hawaii.
Weewar.
And
Timbuktu.
Galar is based on the United Kingdom. Where would you like the next Pokemon game to be based on?
Your first basket.
I would like it to take place in Death Valley.
So you want a desert-themed Pokemon game?
Yeah.
Is that going to be all sand types? Or do you think there's some room for creativity there?
Yeah, we got rock, we got lava, we got fire.
Ooh, lava type.
We want lava. We want lava to explode from the ground in the desert.
Yeah, I was going to say, not a lot of variety.
You
there.
can't walk in either. Your guy sits on fire.
Exactly.
It's lava.
Melting.
Would add a little bit of complexity. Betty, if you could pick a new location for the Pokemon games.
I think one of the most interesting things about Pokemon is the mythos.
No.
And, a lot of Pokemon is kind of... When you're a kid and you're playing Pokemon, that mythos sort of becomes your reality. So I think what would be interesting is another blend of mythos and reality if there was some sort of, Garden of Eden or Jerusalem-themed
I don't know if we
Pokemon
want to bring
games.
religion
You
into
want
it.
an Israel-themed Pokemon game.
I do.
Would there be a Gaza Strip, or...
Oh, I think that's what's so interesting about it, is the Pokemon lore is so vast. Wait, what did I take from?
You said something.
It was very vast.
Yeah, very vast.
Oh, it'd be very vast because, the Gaza Strip, as you were saying, might not be called the Gaza Strip. It might be something like Diglett Lane.
Okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that.
If I were to pick a location for my Pokemon game...
It could even be, for all we know, could be like Weedle Street.
Well, the Pokemon game...
Walk.
Oh.
Right. We'd walk, yeah.
Well, is it going to be like a forest then, or is it still going to be a strip?
I'm sure the geography would be similar. It would just have a different...
Why would there be a bunch of bugs in a desert area,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bugs in desert areas.
Unless you make him like a grass type, I don't know.
Why would there be a grass type in a desert area?
So, Solar Beam. Oh, this is a great little bit of trivia before we continue on. Who is the only fully evolved Fire-type Pokemon that cannot learn Solar Beam?
No fire types can learn Solar Beam.
Every Fire-type can learn Solar
But
Beam.
that's a grass move.
I know, but every Fire-type...
Well, then that breaks the Pokemon lore.
Pokemon can learn all types of moves. That's the whole beauty of the game.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
There is one Pokemon, one fully evolved Fire-type Pokemon that cannot learn Solar Beam.
I don't know, man.
It's Flareon.
Really?
Why Flareon?
Flareon can't learn Solar Beam.
Is it just, dumb?
I don't think it's fair to say that. I think, its genetics are already so advanced that it can, it comes from Eevee, that it just didn't have room for Solar Beam.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. It's like the same. It's drawing from because Eevee's the baseline, and I guess if you're evolving, you can't give it all the capabilities.
Right, because Leafeon gets Solar Beams. So.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what do you think? Do you think that normal types are just types that they haven't discovered yet?
Oh, people say that they should get rid of the normal type. I'm not a fan of that. I like the normal type.
What would you replace it with? Or would you just move normal types into other types?
I wouldn't replace it with anything. I like it. I think it's good. People would just place them in other types, but I like it. I think it's an interesting. It's just it's weird that we say normal, but it's sort of just neutral Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, I wish there were another term that didn't make other Pokemon feel abnormal.
Oh, they probably feel special. I wouldn't say abnormal. I'd say special.
I don't know about that. I feel like if I were a Charmander,
You'd be so to be a normal
if
type.
I were a Charmander.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You have a tail. That'd be cool. But I gotta say, I really like Slowking and.
I wish I could be Slowking.
You like Slowking?
Yeah.
Well, Slowking's my second favorite Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why do you like Slowking?
Well, I like the whole Slowbro family because he's so dumb. Because he's probably omniscient. He's a psychic type. Where does he derive that sort of connectedness from?
Well, then how come Slowpoke can evolve into Slowking, who is the smartest of all Pokemon? It's been confirmed, and Slowbro, who isn't very smart. Why is Slowbro not smart, but Slowking is? Do you know
Slowbro might be experiencing the same things as Slowkid. Poke.
Steel Phoenix Medallion.
So my Pokemon area would be based on Canada. It would be the north. There'd be a lot of ice types, a lot of forest. There'd be bear Pokemon, a moose Pokemon. Do we have a moose Pokemon? I don't think so. I think we need one.
Sometimes I think Raichu might take some elements.
Gosh, he really looks like a mouse to me. I think he is the mouse Pokemon.
Well, there are certain elements taken from the moose, clearly.
What are they?
Well, I mean, you can just look and it's obvious.
Okay, well, I'll leave that up. Why don't you guys say in the comments what you think Raichu, what his moose-like features are. because I just simply don't think that's the case.
Raichu. Are you guys serious right now?
What are you talking about?
Covering your nose? He's
What?
covering his nose.
I was just itching my eyes,
It's
man.
stinky in here, I guess. Do you stinky?
I don't think it's stinky.
It
My nose
was,
is
it was a
also
little
clogged up.
stinky. I was close to the bathroom.
It's not closed.
Okay.
So what would your Pokemon...
For those of you at home, the Emperor just said, Grimer, I choose you.
Oh my gosh.
And for those of you on the go, for those of you on the go, he said, Garbodor, I'm releasing you.
Stop it.
So, Emperor, what area would your Pokemon zone be based on?
Stop it. We're not doing it anymore.
What would your game be? What area would your Pokemon game be based on?
We're not doing it anymore.
What are we doing?
What area would your game be based
Emperor,
on?
you okay?
All right. Well,
We'll go back to New York for this one.
You wanna go
It'll
back?
be called the Falona region.
do you want to do New York again?
We're going back. Back twice.
Well, you don't want to pick like a different city like LA
No, it'll be nostalgic for fans.
to go back to Unova.
Yeah, not Unova now. It's called the Falona region.
Okay. There's a lot of talk that 2020 is going to be the year of Sinnoh remakes. Is anyone excited for a Sinnoh
I
remake?
am so excited for the Sinnoh remake.
If you could repick
Pumped.
your starter Pokemon from Sinnoh, who would it be?
Ooh, Piplup.
Piplup!
You know-
I would pick up Piplup's the best Pokemon in Pokemon.
Chimchar, I think, is clearly the superior choice.
That's the thing about Sinnoh is it's the only region where all three Pokemon are likable.
I like
alright.
all three.
The ones aren't
the
very
best!
likable.
Turtwig's cool. I like all three in the Galar region too, though. I think they're great. Scorbunny, Sobble,
I don't like
and
that blue lizard in the fountain.
you don't like Sobble,
No.
but you do like Grookey, and you love Rillaboom.
I like Grookey and I like Rillaboom.
And you really love that other
He is our first gorilla Pokemon. Though I just had this vision in my head.
I'm sorry.
No!
I'm sorry.
What about the one that slows down?
Slacking.
Yes!
Oh,
He's a
slacking,
sloth.
yeah.
He's not a
No,
gorilla.
he's a gorilla.
He
No,
doesn't
I
look anything
He
like
was
a sloth.
previously a sloth and he evolves into a gorilla.
Yeah, duh.
Up for debate. Up for debate.
This is why you're not a co-host.
Up for debate. Up for debate.
Seviper's a Pichu and then he's a Pikachu. How
Um,
come Seviper doesn't have an evolved form?
Seviper.
Because his counterpart is that mongoose thing. Zangoose.
Yeah,
And neither of them
because it's-
evolve.
Wait,
There's an
Zangoose
eternal
doesn't evolve?
conflict.
No, neither of them evolve.
Arbok evolved.
Arbok does not
Eternal
evolve.
conflict.
Ekans
Yeah, he
evolves
does.
into Arbok.
Ekans evolves into Arbok.
Which
so-
Ekans is snake backwards.
So is Arbok.
Oh,
Arbok
it's
is Cobra backwards.
Snake backwards.
And Muck is come backwards.
Let's talk about Jeremy. You stole that from something, Jack.
It's common knowledge on the internet.
Ooh, so you took a bad. You suck.
This is why you're not a co-host.
Yeah, just blew it.
Clearly. But
Alright, let's
we
talk
each get a
about
different chance.
Jeremy Johns.
The restaurant Jimmy John's?
Yeah.
Alright.
No, Jeremy Jones.
No, I think the restaurant Jimmy John's.
Okay. For a
I don't
while.
want to talk about that. Let's go with mystery topic. We'll start with the magician on this one. Magician, what's your mystery topic?
The mystery topic for the day is, drum roll please, photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Okay, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, it's just a quick little bit.
I think it's a little overrated. I don't know why
How
it's
plants
taught.
get their food
Yeah.
Well, no,
Why is
it's a move for
photosynthesis
grass types.
taught?
is
Yeah.
a move for grass.
Why is it taught?
Why is it taught? It should be taught.
It's just good knowledge,
What is the
I don't use it.
Yeah, but you know what? What about a kid who wanted to become a biologist? That could have inspired him. See,
I don't know
what
if photosynthesis
what if an
ever
engineer was
inspired
like,
someone to be a biologist?
what if an engineer was an English guy and he said, "Why are they teaching Shakespeare? I will literally never use Shakespeare." But Shakespeare inspired you to pursue your career.
Never.
Whoa, you're not even looking at the other side here.
Never.
But
I'm
photosynthesis
closed-minded.
didn't inspire an engineer. What did photosynthesis inspire?
Photosynthesis might inspire those people.
Doctors.
An arbor. What is it called? A botanist. A botanist.
A biochemical botanist.
Yeah. What about the guy who grows marijuana? He has to know about photosynthesis.
Shimshar.
We don't talk about that on this show.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
fine.
we don't support that.
Let's talk about the next topic of the day.
So,
Star Wars
it's
Rise of
Bennett's mystery topic.
Bennett's mystery topic.
Quick, you gotta give it to us and give it a quick flash.
Matthew was right. It was Star Wars Rise.
Rise to what?
Just Rise.
All right, go ahead and talk about it.
So,
Let them rise.
it's a lot of people are thinking, Star Wars has gone so many directions. What story has it not covered, right?
Right.
I mean, right? Are we all in agreement there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of those stories, but one that has a lot of intersection, shall we say, with Star Wars.
Intersectionality.
Intersectionality with Star Wars would be Pokemon. both center around a group of people in a world in which there are
other people.
There are other people and animals, and there's technology that is high tech.
Sure.
I mean, the themes are they're staggering. They're staggering.
I would say there's no space besides Deoxys.
Are you serious, Jack? There's no space in Pokemon. What are all the stars in?
Well, you don't ever go there.
Hold on,
You're in
Sinnoh
space.
Hold on, Sinnoh fan.
We're in space.
What
right
is
now.
Palkia the god of?
Space, but not space and stars. Space like space.
There's intersection there. Intersection.
I think that's the same thing.
So who has more control over time, Dialga or the little fairy?
Who's the little fairy?
Let's
Celebi? Celebi has control over the forest.
What the hell? They went back in time.
Yeah, in the forest.
No.
She is the soul of the forest.
She can't go back in time?
In the forest?
What
But she still can time travel.
Yeah, in the forest.
Look, so can every...
sure she
Oh
can.
my goodness. Go. Poketalkers, podcast for cool kids, episode 3.
And we're back. It's exciting. We want to give a quick little shout out to our sponsor, Cheez-Its Hot and Spicy. For the modern woman in the workplace, nothing's better than a quick Cheez-It to pick you up and keep you going with that tough competition. So jumping right back into where we left off. We left off talking about Star Wars Rise and all the crossovers with Star Wars. Now, one thing that hadn't been brought up yet that I'd like to point out, that one of our very own Dark Penguin pointed out to me, in the Pokemon movie, I don't know which one, and Star Wars Episode 3, there is a striking similarity.
Striking similarity.
Want to tell them what that is?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this is something a lot of fans have known intuitively, but not necessarily been able to, put into words. But, the Pokemon movie 1 and Star Wars Episode 3 have a lot of similarities. And it's not their numerical value, 1 versus 3, right?
Of course.
Are you talking about the very first Pokemon movie?
Pokemon, the movie 1, yeah. 2001.
Oh. It's not the one I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, well, we see that Mewtwo has this grudge. Because he's a science experiment.
Okay.
Then we see a lot of very similar qualities in Anakin Skywalker as it pertains to his relationship with Obi-Wan.
Is there God in the Star Wars universe? Have they ever brought that up? Is there a deity like that in Star Wars?
I feel like it's
like Obi-Wan?
No, like a deity.
It's
You know,
like the
That
collective.
doesn't relate to what I was talking about. Revenge of the Sith.
Well, I know, but is
But
there a
that's-
God?
You didn't
Star
let me
Wars.
finish what I was saying.
Well, can't get very upset every time.
I'm gonna get upset if I don't get to finish what I'm saying.
Okay, finish. Anakin Skywalker and Mewtwo are identical. Now continue.
I mean, that was the point there, but you didn't know.
I know, so continue.
No, that was the point.
But
You
we
didn't-
said
that was the end
beforehand.
point, but you didn't know it was it.
Right.
You stopped for me.
Okay.
It's fine. Like I'll get
We'll get over it.
That's
We'll
fine.
take another
That's
break
fine.
if we need to.
I was referring to the fact that Palkia and the thing that Obi-Wan rides when he fights General Grievous have the same...
Yes. They have the same sound effect. They both go when they... So there's a scene in Revenge of the Sith where they execute Order 66 and Obi-Wan gets shot and his lizard mount falls into the gorge below.
What?
Yeah, it goes... Rawr!
Oh, there he is.
Rawr!
Hey, and a Pokemon appeared in the tall grass. Welcome on to the show.
Name
Go
that
ahead,
Pokemon!
Give us your name, your code name. Give us your code name. What is it?
My name is Warlock.
It's Warlock!
Welcome to the show, Warlock. We were just discussing how Obi-Wan's mount in Revenge of the Sith and Palkia in one of the Pokemon movies have the same scream.
I never heard of that Pokemon before.
Palkia?
No.
Okay, well, it's one of the legendaries from Sinnoh, so it's probably something you should know. Like all our new guests, you should probably tell us your favorite Pokemon real quick.
Jigglypuff.
Go ahead and tell us why.
I think it's pretty cute.
Aww, nice and simple, clean.
Thanks,
I like
Warlock.
that. Do you want to go ahead and give us your mystery topic of the day? Like something you want to talk about real quick, something you're passionate about.
I want to talk about the war in Iran.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
what do you guys think?
Something
You think-
political. Well, let him start off. You know?
Let him do it.
Well, I think that what Trump did was good, and I'm glad.
War?
I'm not sure.
A Poke War.
Oh, like you were talking about your Israel
No
day.
laughing
See,
matter.
I believe that the United States has a strong control over the entire world, and it's very difficult for countries to go at war with us due to our strong military presence.
Well, Alex, I think a warlock. I think that's an interesting point, but there's something I have something I'd like to add.
Oh.
Something really. I was thinking about that today because Iran promised retaliation, and I was thinking to myself, what? Well, if Iran, had the cojones, as they say, to bomb a major city like Manhattan or Washington D.C. Well, quite,
I don't think they have the military
they have
technology
nuclear capabilities, but they'd be blown off the map. So what I'm thinking is, I think, they promised retaliation. I think they're going to attack Israel, and they're going to attack one of our allies, and they're going to force us into a war.
Then this is probably the best time to release that game that I recommended.
Before it's too late.
This is one of those things where this joke is a lot more offensive than you probably think it is.
I don't think so.
What game did you want to release, Bennett? I mean, whatever your name is. Whoops. I mean, Alex. Because the other guy wasn't named that. That was Warlock. This is like Banjo Joe.
Matthew, the Emperor, what is your mystery topic?
This is all gonna have to be cut.
Should rich people be allowed to get away with breaking the law?
Just because they're rich.
Just because they're rich.
And I want to make sure that you're not taking this directly from BoJack Horseman?
No.
Okay, go ahead and elaborate then.
So think about it. Rich people are contributing millions of dollars to the economy. Billions of dollars. Every single day. Pay attention.
Some of them are. Some of them are just sitting
Every fucking
porches.
day.
Some of them are just sitting on
Alright,
porches.
well then let's just take Bill Gates. This is hypothetical.
Okay.
If Bill Gates gets pulled over and arrested, aren't they just wasting everyone's time? I mean, Bill Gates is contributing so much to the economy. Why ruin his life?
Well, I mean, at this point, Bill Gates himself isn't contributing that much, but this company he built is.
Well, Bill Gates is too.
Well,
He's got
sure,
a lot of
but
investments.
he's-
If they ruin his life, all these companies might go under.
Well, if we start giving special powers to...
Well, we give
individual
special powers to people, give special powers to diplomats.
diplomats from other countries because,
Because they help a lot.
They don't help that much, but we can't govern another person.
I think the biggest issue with that is that due to the fact that everything's so public these days, I feel like something like that would get out very easily, and then it would cause mass hysteria.
Okay, but you don't think anything's wrong with it?
Let's talk about it's easy to talk about like a simple crime, like he was speeding or drunk driving. Let's say, what if Bill Gates killed someone? Should he not go to jail?
That's the good question.
Well, he should, but it
What do you
doesn't
think?
matter. If he has money, he may not have to.
If he blatantly kills someone,
Well, we live in a society.
he's gotta go.
Oh,
to jail.
here's
your money.
more.
We live in a society.
We live in a society where you work for your money. I think that you should have the right to spend it. Like, if you've earned it, then, what else would you should spend it?
We know
Spend it
killing...
on what?
On getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
we know...
can't get away with blatant murder.
Well, if you
No,
have the
you
money,
don't get away with
why
it. You're
else did you work
accused,
for
your
it?
sentence, and all the things,
So
but
you're
he's
thinking-
paying to get a
you
lesser
think-
sentence.
It's a
Yeah.
bump. It's a
Right.
little bump because
Yeah.
he has the money to do so.
Morally, we know murder is wrong, which is why he got accused and charged for it. We're all agreeing, but he just has like a get-out-of-jail-free card. That's
So
his
you
money.
think you should be able to pay any crime away?
I don't think you should be,
Pay
but
that
it's very
pain away.
possible. Yeah,
So, Bennett, you're saying like
in any way.
you know how like
I'm sorry?
like a
Think about it. Would
do you know how
$30 billion
Dark
being
Dark
poured in the
Penguin.
economy be better than putting someone to death?
Well, what if he killed someone, then maybe he's not doing good things for the economy because clearly he's not a good person.
Well, maybe he's not, but if he offered to pay it off, we're
Well, what
now
if he killed-
transitioning the topic a little bit.
What if he had to kill this person? Let's say he was at a peanut stand and someone was attacked.
He is really
Well, that's
avid about those
then that's not illegal.
What, like self-defense?
Self-defense isn't illegal.
If someone else was attacked.
In the state where we currently reside, which I will not say,
Peanut
standard
stands
ground is allowed. So helps you guys listening on the go try to figure out where we are if you ever want to stop by for an episode. Standard ground is the law here. So for anybody traveling, that gives you another hint on your big road map.
Okay.
Why does that, Magician, why don't you give another hint about where we are on our road map?
We don't.
Oh my god.
Let's go around and give her home
It's
address.
really warm here.
Oh, that eliminates Canada.
Fan
for the
on.
rest of the episode.
Now
Anyone
we're cool.
listening, there's going to be a fan from now on.
So it's like we're in Oregon or something.
We're trying to throw him off the trail.
So,
Yes.
my mystery topic I wanted to talk about, I read something interesting today, something a little mind-boggling.
I'm sure.
As a general rule...
Yeah, well, I've warned the listeners that there will be a fan the rest of the episode.
So they accept it. Okay.
They know it's coming.
They know.
As a general rule, all general rules have exceptions. But if that's true, then that rule has to have exceptions. That means some general rules don't have exceptions.
Oh!
So can that be true? As a general rule, do all general rules have exceptions?
Are you talking to me?
I was, yeah.
I did not listen to anything you said.
Wow!
All right, next topic.
Magician. If all general rules have exceptions, does that general rule have an exception?
Yes, Jack.
So then it doesn't hold.
What doesn't hold?
The theory.
What theory?
The theory that I
Yo,
just
what are you
proposed.
talking about?
If all general rules have an exception, then does that general rule have an exception?
There is exceptions to murder. There are exceptions. Are you talking about murder?
No.
What are we talking? What
General rule. As a general rule, all general rules have exceptions.
Yes, they do.
So the exception to this general rule would be that a general rule has no exceptions.
I want this whole thing shut down.
Oh, I kind of know what you're saying, but
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's a paradox.
It's a paradox.
But I
Interesting.
don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
oh, Boo, you're gonna cut yourself open. No!
Oh, don't yell, dude. All right, next topic.
All right, next topic from Dark Penguin, please.
Sure. Well, I think it's probably time that we talk about water versus dark.
Oh,
Water
versus
dark.
All right, why don't you go ahead and
Alright,
start us off, Warlock?
Warlock.
Well, I mean, if it's dark out, then you really can't see.
We're talking about Pokemon types.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about this.
If it's dark out, you can't really see water, so I guess water loses.
Case closed.
Alright,
no, water would win.
Water would win. Because if you drowned, nothing is done.
No. The opposite. You guys aren't thinking. Think logically.
right.
Magician, you understand?
Yes.
If it's dark out, you cannot see the water. They're not working against each other. This isn't a zero-sum game. They're working in tandem.
I disagree.
The dark clouds your vision. You can't see. That's why you fall and drown into the water.
I disagree.
It's yin and yang, people.
What, so you're saying there's a little bit of dark in all the water, and there's a little bit of water in all the dark?
Yes.
That's our sponsor.
Alright, moving on. Let's talk about favorite Disney touchstone pictures. Anyone want to start?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before
Nightmare
Christmas.
Before
I win.
Christmas.
All right, next topic.
Okay,
Alright,
someone
let's
won.
talk about our favorite Nicktoons. I'll go first.
Ren and Stimpy.
I liked El Tigre a lot. I really enjoyed it. I
Next
thought
topic.
No.
You win.
No, come on. Well, what did you like?
All right, all hands for Ren and Stimpy.
Anybody like? So just for our listeners at home and on the go, there are 2 hands in the air.
I like Cat Dog.
Oh, Cat Dog. Any hands up for Cat Dog? Just two hands up for our listeners on the home and on the go for Cat Dog.
Yeah, especially Ren and Stimpy.
I
Warlock.
like Invader Zim.
Invader Zim. Hands up for Invader
I
Zim.
love that one.
Only 2. Oh,
We got
3.
two every time. Oh,
Three.
three before.
So,
Three is a
and our
winner.
last one, Danny Phantom. 4. Well, I kind of devolved. Anybody here like SpongeBob?
Check is devolved into something
Nobody
else.
likes SpongeBob. All right, well, moving on to our next topic, Emperor.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
I want to go back to Star Wars because I got a new Star Wars topic for us.
Here is
Oh, yeah?
we're going back to Rise of the Star Wars. Let's talk about it.
All right. I have a disagreement.
Go ahead.
Bennett. I
Who's that?
disagree with
Who's
you.
that?
Who's who?
Bennett.
Nope.
Nope.
We might refer to him as whatever he came up with.
The Dark Penguin.
The Dark Penguin. I call him Bennett.
I will not respond to that.
All right. Dark Penguin.
Yes.
Bennett. What? I have a thing. I'm gonna have to tell you it, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Do you want to tell me a secret?
I'm gonna tell you it out loud, and you're gonna be really embarrassed.
Okay.
All right. So the other day, you said that to balance the force, they should allow the light and the dark side to exist.
Yeah.
That they need to accept that. I reject that.
Exclaborate.
All right. Well, you know, the balancing the force, I don't think means to have this yin and yang, that there can always be a dark and light side and having to accept one another. I think that it's instead supposed to be interpreted as like there's a gray in the world. You have to live with your enemies. I think it is instead interpreted as the balance of the Force. Every Jedi who exists must constantly balance the Force. That's what he's doing. So the dark side completely gives into one emotion, while the Jedi is constantly battling between that emotion. That doesn't mean it goes away, but he's at a constant state of balance.
Well, no, because the Jedi don't attempt to balance the dark and the light. They attempt to completely submerge themselves into light, which is why they have this sort of enforced stoicism.
Well, no,
they don't have. They refuse.
They don't.
I guess reject more aptly.
But they reject it. But they accept that there will always be dark temptations within them. That's what it means to balance it.
Whereas you never really see the dark having light temptations.
Right. Precisely.
Do they? But does that equate to balance?
Yes. I think so.
Balance would be equal influence.
Well, maybe in like some kind of global setting.
Because ultimately, if they might accept that the dark can arise, but they're still trying to quash it in favor of one side.
They say quash it, but they don't ever actually get rid of the dark part of them. They'll always have that dark influence on them, but as they live through their life, they have to balance it. And balancing it means living a light life, essentially.
But you hear about Jedi who indulge in the dark side, and because of that, they lose their connection to the Force.
Yes, they lose their connection because they fall.
No, they'll just be influenced by it in like an isolated instance, and that will sever their connection to the Force.
So
clearly, it's not a balancing act. It's not, oh, you went dark, now do an act of light to redeem it. They're not playing that sort of...
No. It's not like you can maybe you can repent, but if you're too dark, for many Jedi, that means losing the Force. That's why there can only be a few Sith. So just existing with the Sith, I think, contradicts balancing it, because then there'll always be that push to be as vile as possible.
But I think balance is unattainable unless there's Sith. Like, I think... one of the things that came to me during the new movie was that if Rey had accepted the position of Sith Lord with all the knowledge and duties that she had and connections she had, then there would be a way to rule the Sith in a way that was beneficial for peace. But, the thing with the Jedi, and this is what happened to Luke, is that every time there's Jedi, a handful of them are going to be tempted to the dark side. So when you have Jedi, the dark side inevitably arises, and they're constantly in clash. Like, a balance can't be achieved because the humans trying to operate within these ethereal forces are only mortal, so they succumb. But if you had two people that just fully embrace both sides with the same goal, then there could be balance, because none of them would be tempted by the other. They would just understand the other's existence.
Well, I disagree, because the mere fact that the dark side exists, it's like multiplying by a negative, would wipe out the light side. So when they say balance the Force, they mean a person who can literally... Well, what the Jedi originally think, is that it just means a really, really powerful Jedi, like Luke, the Skywalker. But in reality, what we learn at the end of the story, it's someone who is pulled as far to the dark side as possible, and by the end is able to pull themselves back. So the person who has the greatest dark pull and is still able to be a Jedi, in turn balances the Force. Because that means, even at its most extreme, the Force can still be pulled back. So that's what I think that's the story of Star Wars.
That's an interesting interpretation.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, I'd agree that it lends itself more to... because if you had to sum up what you're saying in, Dark Penguin, if you were to sum up...
Scoot over a little bit, whatever your name is.
Dark Penguin, if you were to summarize what you're saying, what's your argument in one sentence? It's that the Force... Can you reiterate?
It's that the Force... Bringing balance to the Force would mean having it not clash, but be in coexistence.
Right. Which I'd say more...
Equally.
Yeah, but I think there is this... you're not designated to dark or light. I think if you're dark... because again, Anakin started off as light, and then he went to the dark side. So, I don't know, I guess the part that I might disagree a little bit on is that in the dark side, there is a little bit of that light pull, too. Why can't it be the opposite? Why can't it be that the dark side can go all the way to the dark side and then be pulled by the light and then switch sides? I feel like that possibility is within everyone.
Well, maybe that's the case, but if that is, then the movie didn't know that. Because, I mean, sure, Anakin got pulled to the extreme of the dark side. He became a Sith Lord for the vast majority of his life.
Right.
Killed tons of people, innocent people, oppressed thousands more.
Slaughtered younglings.
Slaughtered younglings. And then he got pulled back to being a Jedi. But Rey, I mean, she had very few trials. She saw herself in a mirror. Saw a dark reflection.
Well, she was always supposed to have a dark pole.
But you never really... I don't know. I never bought
I never bought
I don't know
The
what
movies
was dark
weren't
about her. She lashed out a little. Anakin had done that for several movies.
The movies never had... The movies were very bad movies. So they didn't have good dark... I mean, the one where they couldn't trust Luke was kind of interesting in The Last Jedi. But,
I just think I think Star Wars is just a more complex story at the end of the day if you view it that they were conscious about that idea that it is a fluctuating thing, as it is for humans to
I think that's what you're supposed to take away from Star Wars in your day-to-day life. Because this is a very simple story.
It's the epitome of
It's
the
the
hero's
hero's
journey.
journey. You're supposed to, think about these things when you're making decisions, like whether you're going to cheat on a test or take the easy way out. You're supposed to personify the easy way out as the dark side and stuff.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, how easy would it have been for Luke to say, yeah, I'll rule the galaxy with you? You're literally... He offered it to him. In the 5th movie, Darth Vader offers it to him. And I was watching it, and I was thinking, man, I don't think I would have said no to that. I don't think I would have said, no, I don't want to rule the galaxy next to you.
I think the famous saying is, with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very well articulated in Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
That is a good movie, and they say it out loud, too.
They do, it's true.
Literally articulated.
I mean, I think it was you who told me, Emperor, that that George Lucas, some of the expanded universe stuff was kind of like, you need a little bit of the dark side and the light side to balance your life. But George Lucas's original interpretation of Star Wars was not that. It was that the dark side is bad and the Jedi are good.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little
Which
bit...
is, I was talking to
I think that's a little too black and white.
Exactly.
But clearly
we were talking about how you're the worst version of a human.
Clearly he went back on that
Dude,
because
really
of the prequels. He clearly tried to introduce some complexity to the prequels. Clearly
yeah.
had a lot in his head canon.
You know what I think it is? I think with the prequels, with the Separatists, and with the Jedi taking over, I think the idea is that the original battle between light and dark is very simplistic, but the politics around it can be very confusing. That's why it's hard to make a right decision in the real world. It's hard to say the Separatists are wrong. I mean, they had a reason for wanting to do what they are. But ultimately, their motivations for it were still Sith-inspired. So the actual politics of the world can change and be muddled, but the essence doesn't.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
So I think our last topic to go ahead and round out this incredible podcast, why don't we, as the new year is starting up, why don't we each go around the room and say, this is a Pokemon podcast, a video game that we're really looking forward to that's getting released in 2020. A video game that's getting released in 2020. Why don't we start off with the Warlock?
I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh! Nice. Cyberpunk 2077.
Because I think it's going to be an interesting video game. It's going to have unique dynamics. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I agree. I think it might be good. I'm a little worried that it might be not as good as The Witcher 3 because it seems like there's been a little bit of pullback, or there's been a little political drama between the developers, and I feel like they might be distracted by such things. But hopefully it doesn't end up editing the final project, and I don't. But that fear is quenched because CD Projekt Red is a great developer, and I think they have it all under control. Pasket?
The Magician. No. Well, Emperor, you didn't tell us the game that you were excited for. Emperor.
Okay.
You didn't tell us the game you were excited for.
I hope Well, that's not gonna come out. I hope Zelda 2 comes out.
They think Zelda 2 will come out in 2020.
All right.
So Breath of the Wild 2 for the Emperor. The Magician.
Yeah.
Game you're excited for.
I'm really excited for the DLC expansion pack for Cuphead. That just looks like so much fun.
Oh, great choice.
Thank
Is that
you.
already out?
I think so.
Okay.
Is it?
I think so.
The one with the girl?
I think so.
Probably is.
There's another expansion pack coming in
Okay.
2020, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I trust you.
Dark Penguin.
Dark Member.
I know, I will say, and I don't want to influence your answer here, I know you're a bit of an Animal Crossing fan, but.
I am. Is there a new Nintendogs coming out?
There is not, no.
But it will be released in 2025, so
Is
look forward
there
to that.
a new Fishing Mama coming out?
No,
No, I don't think so.
Fishing Mom.
Oh, I'd love to see Fishing Mama make it to the
Is that like a Bass Pro Shop meets Cooking Mama kind of thing going on here?
It
That's
plays
awesome.
more like Halo 4.
Oh, it's where you shoot the fish, you shoot the mamas as the fish.
It's Halo 4. It's reskinned.
Okay. That's exciting. I'm really looking forward to Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Wow.
I think Ori too.
And
I think
now
the
we're wrapping
controls.
up the show.
I think controls are tight. I think the gameplay is good. And
Wait,
I think the
Shadow
controls are tight.
Let's give it a wrap up.
Next
Next
anyone
time,
want
for
to talk?
the next episode, we're gonna try to tone it down with the nonsense. There's been a lot of nonsense.
We're just, next episode we have more of a format. We're really excited. We're getting some really cool guests, some producers, some actors, and I think next week we're actually going to have a real live author speak with us.
Ooh,
Who's written 2 books.
Laramie Jeremy?
Oh, don't get them too excited. He's written 2 books, and he's got a 3rd one on the way, taking place in Alberta, Canada.
Canada.
We're looking forward to having him on the show. But till next time, Poke fans, stay pokey.
Eat Pocky?